One of the questions we get asked all the time, both in our store and online, is should you be storing your magazines loaded? And like most questions, the answer is it really depends on your situation. But for the most part, our answer is yes. And that's because when you need your firearm, which you never know when you do, you want to make sure that it's ready to go. I always think of the story of Stephen Williford. If you haven't heard of him, definitely look him up. He's a hero who stopped an active killer out in Texas. But when he went to respond to that killer, he didn't have a loaded magazine for his rifle. So in his story, he grabs his rifle, a magazine, and puts a bunch of bullets in his pocket and takes off and is loading on the fly. And at the end of the day, he had like 1 or 2 rounds left when the situation was handled. I never want to be in that situation. One, because I know that I am not as well trained as he is, so I may not be able to respond as well. But also, every second matters. What if that second you took to load a magazine could cost someone's life? And if you're looking at sparing your magazines and saving money, it's really just not worth it at the end of the day. Now, a situation where you may want to leave your magazine unloaded is, let's say you're a competitive shooter and you've got really finicky magazines and a really finicky gun that only shoots ammo that you've hand loaded every grain into, then yeah, you may want those springs to work optimally, and so you may not want to leave them loaded, but again, you're probably not watching this video anyway. So again, the short answer to that question is that if your weapon is for some form of self-defense, home defense, it's what you are going to grab if something goes down, then hands down, keep your magazines loaded. But the worst thing that you can do is load it up and then unload it and then load it up again, because the most wear and tear that happens on springs is when you're changing the compression of the spring. Now, obviously, keeping it unloaded is going to make it last the longest, but just keeping it compressed isn't going to take that much life away from the spring. It's probably negligible at the end of the day. The most wear is when you load it and unload it and load it. So especially if you're looking at personal defense ammunition in your carry gun, obviously you don't want to just shoot all this stuff at the range because it's expensive. You should be shooting your carry gun very frequently though, to make sure that everything is working optimally if you need it. So this is one where, yes, at the end of the day, you're going to load your carry rounds back into it and then unload it when you get to the range. But again, you don't want to be unloading it and loading it all the time, because that's what's going to wear your spring out the most. So guys, if you have any questions, make sure you go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. We're happy to answer any questions you have. If you have any other thoughts, I'd love to hear those as well. Either way, make sure you subscribe to our channel and go ahead and subscribe to Big Daddy Unlimited if you're not already. It's only 99 cents for your first month. Now, when it comes to weapons that aren't necessarily your go-to in that situation, whether it's so especially if you're looking at personal defense ammunition for...
Should we get back up on so especially?
Josh.